After 12 years in the Navy, Woody took his honorable discharge and we hit the road to find our forever homestead. The driveway was overgrown, but there was an existing cabin. It didn't have any running water or the option to get power, and a well was like $30,000. It was really an insulated shed. First we cleaned, and we cleaned, and we cleaned again. Because this isn't just a home for us, but also for our 2-year-old son, Wade, and the last thing we wanted was for him to get sick. But so far, so good. Our next priority was water access. We found 4 food-grade IBC totes on Facebook Marketplace for $100 a piece and snatched them up. After washing them out and filling 2 of them in a friend's well, we built a water tower uphill from the cabin, hoping to get enough pressure to trigger the propane water heater we brought along with us. And then we started the long process of plumbing for a tiny bathroom with a composting toilet.
Well, that's gone.
We quickly ran out of space as the cabin's only 288 square feet, so Woody built a storage loft and a retractable ladder to the existing sleeping loft, and it made a world of difference. Welcome to week 7 of our off-grid journey.
Another day, another tire sacrificed on this horrible road.
All right, so we're starting off today taking the tops off some of these rocks that are on our road up to our driveway. Our other neighbor was doing something. I just figured I'd come down a little bit further. We're going to start with this one. Just going to take the top off it, hopefully, and then we'll get those ones, which are much more of a step, almost like a curb. Let's get to it. Let's see if this will do anything. Oh, okay, I need glasses.
Good girl, Missy. Good girl, Missy.
Where?
It's in between these boards.
Did she get it?
She's pointing at it. I think he's under the metal. There he is.
Wow, that is a huge rat.
Huge.
Pull it back further. Come on, come back here a little bit, buddy.
Honey.
Okay, you cannot get any wrong.
Ready?
Kind of. Yep.
Okay. Gosh! How big is our rat, Eric? Look at that thing. It's enormous.
Come on. All right, so I don't have a mic, so I kind of have to yell. I'm gonna go ahead and see if some fuel injector cleaner and some gas and a little bit of gravity will get this mamma jamma to start. Also, I think the fire was probably caused by a backfire, considering it looks like it's kind of originated at the intake. But that's my guess. Now I got to unhook this thing and see if, I mean, I would assume that even though it's an auto, I can just flip it to low as I'm driving or as I'm moving, and maybe it'll turn over. I don't know. Okay, so you can't throw it into gear while it's doing its thing. We're done trying to push start it. I got to bypass the key, the ignition key. I did hear a little bit of compression, so that's good, but there's just no way to push start this thing. And I don't even think it'll start if I don't bypass the ignition key, which I don't have. So.
It's been about 5 weeks since we started tapping into the water tower, and it's finally time to pump another 275 gallons up the hill. While the tower may not have created enough pressure to trigger the water heater, it does give us enough pressure to run the cold water, which doesn't run through the water heater and is perfectly good for rinsing dishes and washing hands. With new tires on the tractor, we're finally able to carve out a direct path to the cabin. No more tripping on my way up the hill at night. What a blessing. I can't tell you how many times I've almost smashed my face on the ground.
broke my pickaxe, man. All right, so been running the tractor today. Took the top off the little hump on the walkway to the house, to the shack, cabin, whatever. Top off that so it's a little bit more gradual. And then I've been working on the road, the driveway, trying to get that better. I'm gonna have to scrape that like 1,000 more times before it gets rid of the slopes, because it's like, as you're going through it, it's like different slopes, right or left. We'll have our neighbor come over with his backhoe and do some more stuff with that. I did want to show you guys, if we haven't shown already, the goal with that is to take out some trees and eventually make room for, like, take all these trees out right here. Right, there's the truck, and so where that IBC tote is, all the trees over there, these trees right here, because this natural low spot is actually just for runoff. It's not the road. The road used to be right here, right? That's where the road used to be. And you got runoff coming up there, and this guy right here on the left turns into a ditch on the right side of the, as you're going up, the right side of the trail that's overgrown now, but it's still there. So that's going to be our road. So I want to keep that on the right. So if I try to put a culvert here, I got to contend with this runoff, and that runoff. And I'm going to have to put a culvert going that way and all this other jazz. And then it just, then you got to make a turn going up that way. I want to make it more of a straight shot. So in order to alleviate having multiple culverts trying to deal with all these different runoffs meeting right here, I'm just going to do one big culvert right here, or a couple large culverts, rock, probably concrete, probably have to build essentially a bridge across this thing. But then that way I don't have to contend with any of that stuff over there, or this right here, right? So that's the plan. That's going to be real fun. But first thing we got to do before that is to get access, right? So all these trees, like I said, are going to be taken out. I just have to move all this stuff. That guy's empty, so you get to see me lift that again. Everybody can complain about it. Right, so we'll take this road, instead of going right where my truck is, we'll go kind of that way, right? The Polaris turns over. I'm waiting on some parts. I might see if I can get to a Polaris dealer today or tomorrow and get a rebuild kit for the carb. The sooner I can get that up and running, the sooner I can load my chainsaw, my climbing gear and stuff, and use that to cart that all around instead of having to put it in a backpack and hike. Smarter, not harder, right? So that's what we're working on.
Things are moving along nicely, but we have to keep an eye on the calendar. There's only a few weeks before Christmas and a whole slew of family birthdays coming up, mine included. Living off-grid in an area with no cell reception makes shopping online almost impossible. So we've taken an afternoon to visit an antique hub in Springfield, about an hour away. Our family loves unique gifts. And Wade loves cars. All the cars.
It's our coldest morning by far. We have been lucky to have everything insulated in time, but even then we have some issues with the plumbing, mostly being that it is super cold. We've insulated everything around it, and we're running like a little heat light in there, but it's still not warm enough. And the heat light takes a ton of our battery, so yay! Can't wait for solar. So meanwhile, Woody's been working on all of the things for the ATV, and it might run today, which would be really cool. Daddy go ATV. Daddy go ATV. Oh my goodness, it sounds like they're having fun.
Our neighbor Jake volunteered to help Woody clear this section of the driveway. He is a pretty awesome guy. Super grateful. And what took him 4 hours with the backhoe would have taken us a week or more. And now that we've got the space, we can start processing some of our firewood, and hopefully next winter we'll be a little more prepared. In our last couple of weeks before Christmas break, Woody and I will be making our way up and around the ridge on the quad. We'll be marking trees so we can see our corners from the air and begin planning our homestead. With the terrain being as rolling as it is and pretty much solid rock, we need to plan carefully. We have a lot more land than I think we ever imagined we'd have, and it's a big responsibility. We want to do it right so that for generations to come, our kids and their kids can enjoy this place and hopefully live a very comfortable life.